Good evening, and welcome to our special event lecture this evening. My name is Derek Yonai, and I'm the Lundy Scholar of Business Philosophy at Campbell University. Tonight's special event is sponsored by the Intercollegiate Studies Institute. On your way out this evening, we're going to have publications on our literature table from ISI, so please, when you leave tonight, feel free to pick up some of their publications and information, and we do have an ISI sign-in sheet. It is free for students to become members of ISI, and you'll be on their mailing list, and they'll send you wonderful pieces of mailing, such as the Intercollegiate Studies Journal and invitations to their other events nationwide. Our speaker this evening is Dr. Thomas E. Woods, Jr. He is a senior fellow in history at the Ludwig von Mises Institute at Auburn. He holds his bachelor's degree in history from Harvard University, his master's, MPhil, and PhD from Columbia. He is the author of many books, including a New York Times bestseller, The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History, How the Catholic Church Built Western Civilization, and The Church in the Market. He is also widely published in popular journals and other scholarly pieces, such as the Christian Science Monitor, Investor's Business Daily, Modern Age, American Studies, Journal of Markets and Morality, The Independent Review, The Freeman, and Religion and Liberty. He's also been awarded numerous scholarships and fellowships from such institutes as the Independent Institute, the Intercollegiate Studies Institute, and the Institute for Humane Studies at George Mason University. He's also appeared on Fox News with Hannity and Combs, Fox and Friends, and The Big Story with John Gibson. So please join me in welcoming our speaker this evening, Dr. Thomas Woods.
Nice. Oh, this is very interesting. It's like a little carafe of water. All right, pardon me. Oh, how nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thanks to Derek. Before I actually start speaking, I'd like to say a brief word about a book or two of mine, because if you were ever to read any of my books, you would notice that in the introduction or the acknowledgments, I'm always thanking my wife. And I do that voluntarily, but I do it because she is a saint I in no way deserve. And specifically, I'm always thanking her because she's always, as we once said in the old days, with child as I'm working on a book. So it seems like there's always been, for every book I've done, there's been a child sort of associated with that book. So I'm always thanking her that she goes through 9 very difficult months, and yet she's still very supportive of me, and I always appreciate that. So it so happens that not long ago, I had another book come out, and I was talking to a friend of mine who's a German-born economist living here in the United States. And he said to me, "Oh, I see you have a new book out, congratulations." And I said, "Well, thank you very much, but not only do I have a new book out, but we have a new baby, you know, and it's just wonderful." And I said, "It seems like I'm doing like one book per baby, or one baby per book." And he said very sternly, "Well, I don't think you can keep up that pace." And I didn't actually know, is he talking about books or babies? Can I not keep up the pace? But I have a book coming out this summer, and so far, no baby. So I'm asking my wife, "Are you sure there's nobody in there? I mean, is you sure nobody's coming?" So apparently we're standing pat with the 3 children, but for quite a while we had 3 children under age 3. Ooh! Now, most of you don't have children, you're too young for that, but I'm sure you're all imagining what it would be like to have 3 children under age 3. They're wonderful and delightful and sweet, but I am begging you to go to sleep and stop screaming, basically. So I just spoke to my wonderful wife, and everybody is fine, but I try to keep my travel to a minimum back when they were all three children under 3, because my poor wife is so wonderful, and to leave her to try to juggle them all by herself is just not right. But now that the oldest is 4, well, now it's open season, and here I am on the road again speaking to you. The second thing I'd like to say with regard to books before going on is that I had, as Derek pointed out, a New York Times bestseller called The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History, but if there's anything more satisfying than having a New York Times bestseller, it's having a New York Times bestseller that the New York Times hates. incredibly satisfying, because then every week they have to keep putting it on the list, and they resent it, and they hate it, they denounce it. But as I pointed out to philosophy of business class earlier today, when the New York Times denounces your book, it sells even more copies. Because all normal Americans think, oh, wonderful, this must be good, right? New York Times hates it, how can it be bad? So this has been a nice experience for me. The Politically Incorrect book has sold about 130,000 copies, which is very hard for nonfiction. However, my book called The Church and the Market, I think has sold 2,000 copies, and yet this book, in spite of that, is actually getting arguably more attention. And it's because thanks to the Intercollegiate Studies Institute, and they're watching, by the way, so I do want to thank them. Thanks to the Intercollegiate Studies Institute, I actually won a prize that they sponsored with the Templeton Foundation just 2 months ago. They have a new initiative called the Culture of Enterprise Initiative. And I want to encourage everybody in the room to investigate this program, because there is prize money available for everybody, not just authors of books and articles, but there is prize money available for undergraduates as well. So I urge you to visit the website, cultureofenterprise.org, and find out how you can get a share of the loot. Because what they're trying to do is encourage scholarship and study of the market economy and of how the market and morality interact, whether they are friends or foes, what the market's impact on culture is. All these things are subsumed under the heading of this Culture of Enterprise Initiative, and they are giving away like $1 zillion. So it is worth looking into, cultureofenterprise.org. I wrote this book called The Church and the Market, looking at Catholic and Christian social thought, and trying to argue that people within the Christian tradition have every reason to favor the free market system. There are perfectly good moral and material reasons for favoring it. Well, this is a very specialized sort of scholarly study, so it sells very few, and that's how most scholarly books sell. That's fine. Little did I know that it was going to win first prize in this contest, and the first prize is $50,000. I mean, holy freaking cow. I still can't believe this. I still can't believe this. So, I don't know. Dinner's on me afterward. You want to all join me? I got 50 grand to blow. I'm going to blow it on one big dinner. All right, that's just totally not true. I got 3 little kids. Didn't you hear me earlier? I got 3 little kids at home, for heaven's sake. But that's what we're talking about here. So it's well worth looking into that Culture of Enterprise Initiative.